Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2020 Mayor's Luncheon. My name's Carla Nell, and I'm the President and CEO of the Burlington Chamber of Commerce, and it's my pleasure to welcome everyone that's joining us today. The annual Mayor's Luncheon is a very long-standing and favorite pre-holiday tradition within our Chamber community. And so even though we can't physically be together today, we're delighted to be connecting virtually with all of you because we know this year in particular that celebrating resiliency, adaptation, partnership, and generosity and coming together is more important now more than ever. Before we get started and I introduce our wonderful mayor, I would like to recognize the contribution and the generosity of our event sponsors today, who have made this event possible and available to anyone within the community who wanted to join. So we're very pleased to have the following businesses partner with us for today's event. Sincerest thanks to both TD and CN as our platinum sponsors. We're also very grateful to Cogeco, our gold sponsor, to Bateman McKay, our silver sponsor. Thank you again for your generosity. And as well, our bronze sponsor, Dodsworth and Brown. And of course, we want to gratefully acknowledge our media sponsor, our tremendous partner throughout the year, Your TV, for bringing this to a much broader audience. So thank you to all of our corporate partners. Your generosity allows the Chamber to deliver so many benefits and so much support to businesses and to their employees across the city, and especially this year when they have needed it most. So I hope that while everyone is on the line that you enjoy your lunch from home. And because this is the Mayor's Lunch, I'm now truly delighted to introduce our wonderful Mayor, Mayor Marianne Mead Ward. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for making time and for being here with us today.
Well, I'm delighted to join all of you in this virtual space, and thank you once again to Carla, you and your entire team at the Chamber for showing how we can still come together despite COVID. We can find new and creative ways to connect and share inspiring stories. So that's what we're going to do today, and I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you to everyone who is tuning in, and thank you to the sponsors for making this free. This is what resilience looks like in action right now, right here.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for being here. You know, it's, as I was reflecting, preparing for today, it's really hard to believe that a year ago at this time, there were more than 150 of us in a room enjoying a lovely meal at the fabulous LaSalle Conference Center. We'd had a beautiful snowfall the night before, the sun was shining, and we were listening to a keynote address that was delivered by our Deputy Chief of Halton Regional Police, Roger Wilkie. And it feels like a lifetime ago. And in preparing for today, I watched and reviewed the video from last year. And the theme of Roger's remarks were conquering through collaboration and compassion. Who would have thought going into 2021 how incredibly relevant that message from him would have been? And I remember as we were listening to him share stories about some of the incredible individuals that he's had the experience of dealing with over the course of his career, that there weren't many dry eyes in the room by the time he was finished. And we are posting a copy of last year's video to our YouTube channel because it was so powerful. I remember how we all felt as we were leaving. And he talked to us about how people have overcome adversity and they've moved forward and had such a tremendously positive impact, and what a message to resonate. And so I just wanted to, before we get into our conversation, just share a brief clip from last year's remarks because it's unbelievable how telling and on point his message was to us. So Sean, I'm going to ask you just to roll the clip there for a minute and then we'll continue.
Over the past 24 years, I can tell you that I've seen humanity at its worst and at its best. I've also learned so much about the power of collaboration and compassion, and how people like you and I can make such a big difference in our community, each in our unique way. Don't ever pass on an opportunity to advocate for something that you believe in. Secondly, never underestimate a person's desire or ability to contribute and give back. And lastly, collaboration and compassion are a powerful combination for conquering anything.
It's amazing to listen to that again. So now we know what an incredible champion you have been for conquering all things COVID through collaboration and also demonstrating kindness and compassion throughout this year. It's been essential to helping us all deal with the many challenges that we've encountered. And you've been, as I said, a tireless advocate for that. So, share with us a little bit about how have you seen this in action? Because we've seen adaptation, partnership, wonderful things within our community. I mean, what has struck you the most over 2020?
There are so many stories, Carla. And as you were talking, I was remembering what I was doing in late February, early March of this year, not knowing what would happen in a matter of days. I'm taking a chartered director's course in the midst of all this to learn how to be a better head of council. And we were talking about risk, and we were talking about resiliency and adaptation. And there was, we were watching what was happening around the world with COVID, but that was weeks before we declared a state of emergency. Had no idea this was coming, had no idea the impact that it would have, and really into a full year journey now, and we've got another year ahead of us at least, which we can talk about. Nobody could have predicted that, and I think that's the key to being to the collaboration that we've seen, is that despite the fact that nobody could see this coming, nobody could plan for it, we were ready. We were ready because we're ready to serve, and we're ready to jump into action. I've seen that with our business community and our residents, and there are so many stories. I would encourage everybody to go to my website, mariannemeadward.ca, and along the top, you'll see a button called the Wall of Inspiration. Almost immediately in this pandemic, people of Burlington stepped up with kindness, with compassion, with collaboration. I saw people offering to pick up groceries for shut-ins that couldn't get out, people that were returning from trips and had to self-isolate. We saw our food banks, all of our food providers, our churches come together to make sure that nobody in our community would go hungry. We've seen those relationships built through the last 8 or 10 months will outlast COVID. That's one of the awesome things about this. Certainly the business community came together through your leadership, Carla, and the other members of Team Burlington, our 2 BIAs, our Tourism Burlington, and of course, economic development, to advocate for our community. None of this would be possible without that collaborative spirit, which is alive and well in Burlington. And I can truly say none of us do any of this alone. None of us do achieve anything of note alone. And one of the sayings I heard recently about what COVID has been like is we're all in the same storm, but we're not all in the same boat. Some have yachts and some are drowning. And our community made sure that everybody had a life preserver. All, our businesses did, our residents did, and just to see that compassion and that teamwork has been inspiring. And those relationships will last well beyond COVID.
Well, and you certainly set the tone for that across the city, because almost immediately when the pandemic struck, you created, and maybe not everyone is aware, a Mayor's Emergency COVID Response Task Force. And you brought together leaders from every segment of our community, from nonprofits to charitable organizations, our municipal staff, business leaders, thought leaders, medical professionals. I mean, having participated around that virtual table, there wasn't a stone that went unturned under your leadership in terms of how can we work together to really support everyone in the city? I mean, what was the inspiration for that? Because I remember dialing in the first time and there were about 50 or 60 of us on the line. And yet this became that North Star for so many in terms of defining those relationships and partnerships that had never previously existed to the same extent.
Oh, well, thank you for that. And like many good ideas, it wasn't mine. It came out of conversation, largely initially in the early days with Eric Van de Waal, the president and CEO of Joe Brant Hospital. And the initial concern, if you cast your mind back to the early days of the pandemic, was that we would see this huge spike in cases that would land on our hospital doorsteps, and what would we do? And so he initiated with me calls a couple of times a week in the early days to see how we could partner with the hospital in any way that we could. And out of that, we said, we need more people around the virtual phone call. And it was just a truly an organic conversation of sharing thoughts. And out of that, we said, look, it would be good to start this task force. And the initial task was to help with hospital capacity. And look at where we are now. As of yesterday, the province asking hospitals to prepare for surge capacity across the province. And the great news in Burlington is, because of the forward thinking of so many people in our community, but really exemplified by the hospital, they went out, took a, I'll call it a leap of faith, I guess, that, you know what, we want to be ready. So they got the pandemic response unit at Joe Brant, which until now we have not ever had to use. That's good news. Mm-hmm. But when they ask us, are you ready for surge? Absolutely, we're ready. And not just for our community. We know that regions to the east of us are really suffering with increased COVID numbers. Their hospitals are really suffering. We're ready to help, help with some of their patients as well. So not only are we all in it together here in Burlington, we're in it together region and province-wide and countrywide.
Mm-hmm. Now, as a business organization, we've worked really closely with the city and with our Team Burlington partners. And the City of Burlington, under your leadership, Council has really been a thought leader in terms of how to support businesses. And we've seen a lot of evidence of that. So maybe you could just touch on, I mean, because you went boldly in directions that other municipalities and communities were, and they were watching and ultimately followed your lead. But we've seen some terrific programming and support. So maybe you can just touch on, because
for sure,
we know our council has gone to the region and championed things and been first out of the gate in terms of ideas and solutions to help businesses.
Absolutely. Well, actually, just yesterday, many folks will know that Halton Region unanimously approved a resolution asking for fairness during closures. So that limits on people being in a business be based on square footage, which is a more health and science related measure than a hard cap. And that there be fairness for those regions in lockdown, that a big box store isn't allowed to sell products that the mom and pop local store around the corner is not able to do. That was unanimously approved. But as you say, this collaboration with the business community started a long time ago. And again, none of this happens alone. I have a great council, and I want to give credit to Councillor Galbraith and Councillor Bentavania, two local business people who themselves have been in business for many, many years. And their voice around our council table has been so strong, advocating for our businesses. And so we developed a grant program. And this, as Carla will know, municipalities aren't supposed to do that, apparently. We had to finesse it a little to make sure they, that they didn't come and arrest the mayor for being offside the Municipal Act. But we did a lot of advocacy, and that's something that has been throughout this. I don't think I've written as many letters in my whole life to other levels of government as I do in a week around here. And so we've worked together with all of our business associations, and of course, Burn now has started, the Burlington Economic Recovery Network started many months ago to help coordinate and quarterback that. But our grant program, which again, just this week, another piece of good news, I think it's 94 recipients, over $120,000 of grant money to assist our businesses. And even before that, one of the other outcomes of the task force that you mentioned earlier we worked with, we had representatives of the Burlington Restaurant Association around the table who were asking us for help on temporary patios. So heading into summer, we waived the permit fees. We changed some zoning requirements. We worked really quickly to make sure that our businesses could be up and running. And now that we're heading into winter, you know, we're Canadian. We can still be outside. So we started a winter tent patio task force to look into that as well, and are refunding any of the permit fees for that. So those are just a couple. I could talk on and on, but those are just a couple of things that we've done, and I have to credit everybody on council for unanimously being behind those efforts as well.
Yeah, and they're very appreciated. And the work that the Burlington Economic Recovery Network is doing, supported by Team Burlington, the Chamber, and our partners, I think is going to play a key role as we move forward. Certainly, there's still a long road ahead. There's a lot of hope and optimism now that we're seeing a vaccine being rolled out. But you know, 2021 is still going to continue to be challenging for businesses across the city. And it's one of the reasons why we've been really encouraging people to shop local, to love local, and support their local businesses, to resist the urge to Amazon, as I often say, because we have some incredible businesses within our community that have adapted, that have looked at e-commerce solutions and other ways of continuing to deliver, you know, important goods and services. So that's a theme that I do want to explore, and we're going to chat with some of our amazing business owners in just a few moments. But before we do that, we know we're going to have to continue to dig deep next year. So, you know, how do we keep powering through? I know this year must have been exhausting for you. I can only imagine. And in a recent conversation, you talked to me about ricocheting between, you know, the highs and the lows on a given day, the range of issues that you're dealing with. How have you been managing through all of this? You show up, you listen, your energy, and it's been unwavering. So, you know, what's your message to all of us as we try to make sure we've still got enough fuel in the tank to get through what still lies ahead?
Oh, that's a good one. You know, hang in there, everybody. And even if you know, reach out for those supports. I couldn't do this without my family first and foremost standing with me, but I have a great team of people at the city, and of course more broadly in the community through the task force. And I've really leaned on all of those people for inspiration, for comfort. You know, if you're on the downside of the roller coaster, you know, your friend next to you might be able to pull you up and pick you up. And you know, it hasn't been easy. I can tell you, the decision to declare a state of emergency before other regions in Halton were doing it, and there were mixed views about whether we needed to do it. And I made the decision after opening the newspaper, the virtual newspaper, and reading about somebody in Milton who had died. And his wife saying, take this virus seriously, take it seriously, stay home, do what you need to do. The virus can't transmit itself. It needs people to carry it. And so it was out of that incredible pain and just empathy for this person I didn't even know, that really solidified that I needed to take action, because it is life or death. And when those are the stakes, you find the energy to do it. And we've seen, I mean, the resilience of this community, the compassion, the creativity. You know, just recently over Christmas, we have neighborhoods that are, you know, we have Frosty's neighborhood, if you want to go see Frosty, and we have reindeers in Aldershot, and we have Santas in North Burlington. And that's just one example where people have said, we're not going to let this virus define us or beat us or stop us. We're going to find a way to go around. And whenever I need extra inspiration, I just open that wall of inspiration, and there are dozens and dozens of stories of people you may never have met, just ordinary people like you and me saying, I'm not going to let this stop me. I'm going to keep going. And they fill me up. So keep your sense of humor. And I will be taking some time over the holidays to power down. So I hope to be recharged and ready to go in 2021. Hi, Ashley.
Hi.
Do you want me to just ad lib for a while? I can talk for a long time if you want. There's lots more stories. We just lost Carla.
I know, I saw that. So I am definitely no substitute for Carla, but I know what's coming up next. So I was thinking we should hop right into sharing the amazing stories and the businesses that we have that are going to be featuring some of their last minute shop local products with us.
Awesome.
And I'm sure you are very familiar with most of these businesses, but I'm going to start off by introducing John Romano from Nickelbrook Brewing, located right here in Burlington. And so, John, we're going to hand it over to you and let you tell everyone what you have going on for the holidays this year.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Hope they're getting all ready for Christmas, and you got to have beer in the house, right? So when COVID hit, we did not know what to do. It was very, very difficult at the beginning. We lost probably 35% of our business overnight. Bars and restaurants shut down. You know, people were scared to go into retail. There were lineups at liquor stores. It was crazy. Like, everybody was buying flour, toilet paper, and cases of beer. It was crazy what was going on. I had phone calls from people going, "Hey, are you guys going to shut down? I got to Headstock's my favorite beer. I'll buy 10 cases if I have to." I was like, "No, calm down. We're okay. We're not shut down. We're considered essential services." So we called all our sales reps in and said, "Okay, you've lost your job technically, but if you're prepared to do everything and anything, and that's packing, you know, helping at e-commerce and delivering beer, you can keep your jobs." And everybody said yes. So, you know, we had multiple meetings with different departments and said, "Guys, things are going to change around here, but if everybody's prepared to hang in there and do what they need to do to keep things going," everybody said yes. Not only did everybody keep their jobs at Nickelbrook, we actually hired a few bodies, so that's been a positive thing. But it is definitely scary times. We've had to put an emphasis on e-commerce. We started doing virtual beer tastings, which we sold out in days. The first one, 250, which was really cool. So a lot of our business is curbside, door drop. We have couriers. We hired a camp car at the beginning, and the truck was showing up and they had 200, 300 boxes. They couldn't believe it. Drivers were getting upset. They weren't expecting all that. We have great gift ideas. We have Nickelbrook is actually rated to be one of the best barrel breweries in the country. One of our beers is rated the best craft beer in Canada, and one of our barrel-aged beers is rated one of the best craft beers in Ontario. So that's for the crazy beer lover in your life. And then we have No Bad Days. We just launched our first lager, and it's got a great price. It's $45.95, which is a great price for your parties, which you can't have, but maybe you can have your people come by your house and pick up beers. We just launched a really cool pack. It's called our Mystery Pack. We always do these one-offs at the brewery, and we get another listing every spring. So the LCBO, we went to them and said, "Hey, what do you think about getting a box, put an A, B, C, D, get the consumer to vote?" So we've got that on the go right now. And then we're doing a virtual beer tasting at the end of the month. It's called Holiday Party in a Box. It's very reasonably priced, and we ship the beer to your house, and we have our brewers and online, and it's a really fun thing to do. And we have a lot of neat stuff going on. The tap room is closed. We didn't want to, compete with our restaurants. We said we don't need people coming here to eat, so tap room is closed. We're only doing curbside and door drop pickups. We'll revisit that maybe in the spring or so. And our online e-commerce, we've really spent a lot of time making it user friendly. So all our stuff is available on e-commerce, and it can be picked up here or door dropped or couriered to your home, and it's very reasonable. So lots of stuff happening in Nickelbrook. We haven't missed a beat. So we're very fortunate, and I want to just address, there's a lot of restaurants in this town that need business, and we need to do as much takeout as we can. Don't cook at home, just do takeout. Just kidding. Buy beer and do takeout. That's all we need you to do. Every day. But we need to support. If I've got to say, I've seen so many horrible stories around the province. Never mind, because you got to appreciate we're all over this province, and there's a lot of sad stories out there when it comes to restaurants. So please support your local restaurant. Please support your local retailer. And everybody, Merry Christmas, and make sure you have Nickelbrook in the fridge.
Thanks so much, John. And I'm sorry that I got disconnected there for a moment. One of the things I love the most about Nickelbrook is, not only the product, frankly, and your ginger beer is outstanding, but the names of your beers, the creativity, the Naughty Neighbor brew is a particularly good gift for that neighbor that, you know, maybe you just want to brighten their day, right? So I don't know if there's the naughty and the nice version about to come out, but, you know, we absolutely love how much fun and creative you've been with this. So thanks so much. And your message about supporting our local restaurateurs is a really important one. We encourage everybody to think about getting takeout, curbside pickup, or purchasing gift cards from so many of our amazing local restaurateurs. Great gift ideas for this year. So thanks again for being here. And I'm really excited to also introduce to everybody Vincent and his partner Dave from Backed by Bees. I'm not sure if everybody is aware of the fact, but we do have a full service beekeeping operation and meadery in North Burlington. And not only are you located in the north, but you've also got an amazing pop-up shop at the Burlington Center right now that we've been hearing terrific things about in terms of products, as well as the price points. So you're not only offering, you know, a range of products that are, you know, made by your bees, but also you have a farmer's market that curates some pretty amazing and fantastic Ontario made products. So maybe you can just tell us a little bit about what you've been doing and what's available through you, and if you have any silver linings from 2020 that you'd like to share.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you very much for that introduction, Carla. Yeah, and so thankful that you played that clip at the start of this presentation, because for us, collaboration has really been the theme over the last 6 months. I mean, we started a business here. We're a startup in the North End. We had a plan because we are an alcohol company, right, to go into the restaurant industry pretty strong. And of course, that all collapsed, pretty much overnight, and not the right time to be approaching, that sector. So we had to pivot quite quickly. And so Dave and I spent a lot of time kind of thinking, okay, how can we serve our community at the same time, keep up with this farm market bit that we have here in the North End. And so under that spirit of collaboration, I think we were able to bring together a lot of really unique local vendors. And, we define local definitely as Ontario, as being Ontarians, as much as possible, trying to do a hyper local products when we can, for sure. And so we launched into, right into March, into a state box program, because as John was just alluding to, everybody was buying toilet paper and all that kind of stuff, and they didn't have access. We knew we could bring together all of these small supply chain network, and we're not dependent on the big supply chains, and, launch something out at an affordable price for people. So we're not, they can still access the fresh fruit, the fresh vegetables that this area really has to offer, and the other small type of products, are in the Burlington area. So collaboration really is, the theme for us. And the community, I got to say, has been very supportive. I mean, there's these Facebook group there that have been supporting the restaurants, and us as well. And everybody that has been on there, comes in and really is doing their part to try to support all of the small businesses. So we have a couple small items we're going to showcase. Dave's going to start off with the first one.
So we've been running a lot of our gifts through the Burlington Center pop-up store as kind of designed for gifts. So we call this one our mini gift. And what's in it is a sour apple, like a crab apple drink mixer. And so that's made by Apple Flask. So again, one of our collaborations there. And then because we are a full-scale beekeeping operation, we specialize in raw honey. It's kind of one of our smaller starter raw honey, 250-gram raw honey jars. And then in there as well, what we really kind of went with is honey sticks. So these are little straws filled with honey. We do have plain honey ones, and then we do have, for kind of the the more explorer type, we do have a whole whack of different varieties of flavors as well. So kind of a neat traveling sweetener, and that's what's in our mini gift.
So we'd be missing, we didn't talk about the alcohol, so we've got another one here. We'll do a little unboxing. So in this one, we do have a little honey. Yeah, well, that's yeah. So just to kind of play on John's Nutty Neighbor, we've got our classic mead is called Behaven, and it's 0.8%. It's dry carbonated, drinks a little bit like a cider, if to compare it to something, although it's a little bit different. And to pair it, we have another called Behaven. and this is cherry. So you can either be a little bit behaving or a little bit misbehaving. And so that's kind of our starter pack. And then we do have a very traditional mead as well that's, you know, more for your neighbor or something like that. And that's a very classic mead. So yeah, I just to kind of close, Carla, you know, thank you again for the opportunity here to kind of speak. And again, I just want to express our thanks for the community at large and just the support they've shown throughout this, you know, this pandemic.
Well, thank you both. And I just want to mention you were an amazing contributor during the consultation sessions that we held through the Burlington Economic Recovery Network. You brought some incredible insights. And, you know, certainly I want to congratulate you on everything that you've done to adapt your operations this year. And these are wonderful and very unique gift ideas. So if people want to stop in, the pop-up shop is currently open at the Burlington Center. Yes. You also have a great e-commerce site as well that people can avail themselves of. So hoping that people will use you as a bit of inspiration for those great last minute gifts. So wishing you both well. So much.
Before you go, can I just jump in for a sec, Carla?
Sure.
This is a fun fact, since we're getting into the festive spirit, and I know now what I need to put in my stocking. But you can guess, you can decide whether I get to be misbehaving or behaving. But my family name, of course, is Mead, M-E-E-D. And it's always getting misspelled my whole life as I was growing up. And people would often spell it M-E-A-D-E, which is how you spell the wine. And so my dad was one of those people that if you can't beat him, join him. So he embraced this misspelling, and he would, even though they were teetotalers, so figure this out, he would always bring a bottle of mead home around Christmas for us to try. And it was the only time I could ever drink alcohol in the house. With my family. It's changed now, but little fun fact. So I will be dropping in to fill up my stocking at your store at the Burlington Center, and this is also a great story of our rural agricultural business community. Right, we have a thriving agriculture industry. Half of our land mass in Burlington is rural, and it's so important to support what you're doing. I know it hasn't been easy, and we're working on that, but it's just so great to see you bring the land and the farm to the city folk. So thank you.
Thank
you, Mary.
Thank you. Thanks again, Vincent and Dave. Really appreciate it. We also have another individual that's very connected within our chamber community, has been an active contributor to the Burlington Economic Recovery Network. We're joined this morning, or this afternoon rather, by Amber Gilly, and she is part owner of the you've actually been in Village Square for over 30 years now, I believe, and you're part owner, and we'd love to hear from you about what the spa in the Village is offering this year.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, good. I'm so glad that you played that clip from last year, because I was reminiscing, and it was like, I went there not knowing what to expect. It's always good when it's a chamber event, right? But I was like, I don't know anyone at my table. And I ended up with tears running down my face and hugging the girl next to me. That was when we were allowed to hug, of course, but it was beautiful. And yeah, it's different this year, but it's great. And it's awesome to see everyone here. And it's so nice to hear about the ways that businesses have changed, have rolled with the punches, right? That's what this is all about. So I really appreciate what the Chamber has done for us. As being a spa, we are services, we are touching people. Fortunately, we're also really good at sanitizing things, because that's something that spas always have to do. But it really threw us for a loop. We did have to shut down for, a few months. Thank goodness Village Square was good to us. Our neighbors, we all collaborated, and I stayed connected with all of the committees through the Chamber and Team Burlington, etc. But yeah, it was tough. And then all of a sudden, when we were allowed to open again, I, got in touch with all our staff, and they were like, oh, okay. Well, I don't have childcare, or my mother-in-law lives with me, and she's over 80 and she's at risk. And, then you've got all of these things. It's not just being an owner at a store that is going to be selling products to people. It is individuals that are going to be in people's faces. Like literally, we do get quite close. So we're lucky. We do have a physiotherapist, RMT, chiropractor there, and we were able to follow all of their very strict guidelines, like because they're with an organized, like a college or an organization. It really helped to have those guidelines. Anyway, enough about that. The spa is back in full force, and I really wanted to have my my business partner Tiffany, and she's also my sister, and Lala, the spa manager. I wanted them here with me today, but we are packed, guys. Like, I'm so happy to say that we've been very busy. We do have to space people out a little bit more to make time for the distancing and the sanitizing, and that's good because sometimes it gets a little too busy, right? So we're offering pretty much all the services. We are able to offer facials, but I'm sorry to say you have to wear your mask now with a facial on, which is weird. Like, how do you analyze someone's skin when this is covered, right? Like, because you do need to check out someone's skin. It's a little bit different. Not all the girls are comfortable doing it, so we just sort of respect that. Not everyone wants a facial right now. Everyone's still getting their nails done, and we got people in getting their hair removal done, even though they're not going on vacation. That's the thing, right? Like, it used to be you could show people you love them by like, let's go on a cruise together, let's get whisked away, and now there's not so much. So we tried to find a way to put it out there, like, you know, even though you're not going away, there's nothing to get all dolled up for. We're still selling lots of gift certificates, which is great. And we put them in little gift bags, and you have to weigh those gift bags down, right? So we always get gourmet chocolate, and we put the chocolate in the bag. And I don't know how much of it makes it to the wife when the husband comes in and buys her the gift. They're usually pretty excited to see the chocolate, but we're still doing that. And we're surprised at how many people are still coming to get the gift cards in person. And sometimes we have to make them wait outside because we can't have too many people in the room, but we've got gift cards online too. I don't have anything to show you guys. Like, I could probably show you my screen and show you the website where you can buy all this stuff, but you know, you can buy someone a pedicure. You could buy someone a full day at the spa. You could get someone a $20 gift card. Like, it doesn't have to be a big deal. Everything that we offer at the spa, we do offer it online. It gets emailed to you. You pay online, it gets emailed to you immediately, and you can either print it off or forward it on or whatever you want to do. And we've got subscriptions now too. So that's something new. So if someone wants to give someone like the 12 months of Christmas is what we're calling it, like a monthly pedicure, a monthly facial, whatever.
Well, if ever there was a time that people needed pampering, I'm sure this is the year. So amazing ideas in terms of gift cards, you know, giving people the opportunity to take good care of themselves in good hands at the spa. So thanks for that, Amber, and thanks for everything that you've done to support other businesses and to contribute over the course of 2020. You've been really tireless. Yeah.
Thanks.
And can I just jump in quick there too? I'll be seeing you tomorrow, which is awesome. But you know, the thing that I've said is that some of our businesses are the safest places to be. It's why I think we've been successful in avoiding a lockdown. There's not source of spread coming from our businesses. The steps that you and other businesses have taken to go above and beyond what is required to make sure that your employees are safe. It's really interesting to hear about you know, the experience of your employees. And like I said earlier, everyone's in the same storm, but not in the same boat, right? Different people have different circumstances. And so I feel very safe going into any business in Burlington because of the measures that they've taken, and we'll continue to advocate to keep you open with those restrictions, because that's what we need to do. So thanks to you and your team.
Yes,
and see you tomorrow.
Thank you. And again, to that point, we've been encouraging every business in the city to take the post promise, which is a commitment, a pledge that individual businesses can take, and an icon that you can proudly display at your place of business to confirm for both your employees as well as your customers that you are holding yourself to the highest standard to keep everyone safe. So thank you, Amber. Great suggestions. And I'd now like to introduce Lacey Horn. She is a co-owner of Harmony Fine Jewelers that has a location in downtown Burlington, and you specialize in luxury jewelry, estate jewelry, watches, and I'm sure you have some beautiful gift ideas for this year. I'm hoping that some members of my household are watching right now as we speak. So love to hear from you. Thanks so much for being with us, Lacey.
Thank you for the introduction, Carla. Yes, Burlington, our location of Burlington Harmony Fine Jewelers is our third and newest location of Harmony Jewelers. So we've been around actually since 1975. So the new store in Burlington has been there when this all hit, just coming into our second year. So we were in the beginning hit pretty hard because we were just at a point where we were starting to establish some great local clientele. But I have to say, you know, when talking about our silver lining certainly was the downtown community of Burlington. Like I said, we are one of 3 locations, so we experience downtown in a few different areas. And the downtown of Burlington has just been incredible, extremely adaptive and supportive of all the local businesses down there. And it was just really incredible to watch, you know, even what they've done right now with like the 20-minute free curbside pickup parking, like all of those things just help like all of our stores down there get through this time. And, you know, we're just incredibly thankful for that and to be part of this downtown community. We were, you know, found opportunity this year and just really focusing in on our social media presence, which we've really, you know, increased and looked at differently, as well as our website, as we've all had to do is just make that pivot. We were always on the brink of e-commerce and just really took that leap of getting more of our product up online. We were very fortunate when we reopened, though it was a slow start, that we started to build that traffic back up. And, you know, we have all the cleaning protocols in place and number limits, but this Christmas, a little different for all of us. We're used to this hustle and bustle of a busy store. And, you know, now we're offering virtual shopping appointments, which have been successful, as well as curbside pickup. So it's going well. We have all our staff back and, you know, it's a different Christmas, but it's still a good one. So we're very, very fortunate for that. What I have here to show for a few last minute gift ideas today, we have 2 really nice lines in the store in Burlington. One called Uno de 50, which is from Spain, and another called Añeje, which is just really a fun, trendy, stackable line. So I'm going to try this to show you guys here on my, I'm going to disconnect. Sorry, I tried this earlier. But I'll just bring these pieces in. So here we have a piece of Añeje. So this is all gold plated or sterling silver, but it's just really fun, stackable. We saw a big thing this year was layered gold pieces. So everything there starts at about $50, as well as this Uno de 50 line that we have here that I mentioned from Spain, which is all sterling silver and just really fun layerable pieces. This is a nice heavy line. So yeah, we have a lot more obviously on the showroom floor that you can have a look at. Yeah, we have great gift ideas as well as specialize in fine jewelry as well.
Some beautiful, beautiful pieces, Lacey. Thank you for showing. So if someone wants to book a virtual showing, do they go to your website? Do they call the store?
Yeah, so it's just a pop-up clickable rate from our website, and then we get a notification and we book in a time for them, or they can call, and it's as simple as, you know, give us your number and we'll hop on in 5 minutes for a FaceTime. It just makes it, you know, it still allows them to see everything, ask questions. Often jewelry is a bigger purchase for a lot of people, right? So it's not as easy as an online click. And it gives us that chance to have that customer interaction, and then they just pick up and they're good to go, all gift wrapped.
Well, congratulations on how you've adapted. So some beautiful gift ideas there. Thank you so much for sharing. So we're going to move from the downtown now out to Aldershot Village. And I'm really delighted to introduce Maria from Flower Child Bakery. You specialize in traditional European baking, beautiful pastries. Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing, Maria, and what people can expect in terms of their customer experience with you.
Well, first, thank you for inviting us to participate. I really appreciate that. So when you do come to our bakery, you have a wide assortment of European as well as a heavy focus on Eastern European. So I don't think you guys can see me right now, but so we have things like dobo sporta and walnut rolls and poppy seed rolls. So a heavy influence on the Slovak, Polish, and the Hungarian delicacy pastries, as well as a wide assortment of croissants. So we have like up to 9 different varieties of croissants, from butter to chocolate to spinach and feta, cheese, ham and cheese, raspberry, blueberry, the list goes on and on and on. We participated only at farmers markets to start. So when I purchased the business back in 2017, our background was just to go over 3 days and do farmers market. I increased that to 8 markets a week. And then I was asked by a lot of customers to open up retail. And since I am from the Aldershot area, I wanted to have a business where I felt the community could use something like that in their store selection, as well as I think that it's a great place to be. And so therefore I found a location back in June of 2019. It took a while for us to get our location up and running with building permits and stuff, but thankfully I have a great Ward 1 councillor and he really stepped in and helped me get my permit. So we were able to start construction in November of 2019. And unfortunately, that our delay in opening. We did our soft launch in February of 2020, and our grand opening was set for March the 10th. And then unfortunately, 2 days later, the province shut down, and on the 13th, we lost all of our markets. So it's been a tough go. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's been a real tough go for us. Our business plan pretty much tanked the moment the province shut down. Thankfully, we're considered an essential service with breads, etc. So we were able to keep the store location open, and we went from 4 employees to 14 employees. And so that was really scary for me because I'm thinking, I just hired all these people. They've been with me for less than a month, and do I keep them all? And thankfully, all of our employees have been able to stay with us, which is great. So that's kind of a silver lining for us, is that we've been able to make it through some of the most challenging times for opening a business, and throw COVID in on top of it. And boy, you don't really have much air in the bag, that's for sure. But you know, it's something that we're trying to get through, and we're very glad for the support of our community. And I can say that the Facebook groups in the community, like Trevor's Burlington Restaurant Group, we were one of the early members of that group, and you know, they've done a great job for us in supporting our business, as well as like the Aldershot moms. Like, those women are serious. They're supportive of everything they can get their hands on. So that's great. And so you have to love your community, and I think that's probably the real silver lining for us in the business. You know, for those who do not know, I wear a number of hats in our community, and one of those hats is that I am the board chair for the Burlington Food Bank, and I'm happy to kind of blend the business with the charity, because all of our food that is left over every single day goes to the Burlington Food Bank. You know, and I hear really good responses from the clients that they really like our products. So that's probably as rewarding as the return client, right, to the store. So that's a really great thing. And I think that probably the next silver lining would be, because of my involvement with the Burlington Food Bank, boy, our community is something else. Like, we are one great community, because the amount of contribution and volunteer time that the Burlington Food Bank has received this year has been outstanding, and it makes my heart just leap every day.
Oh, well, you know what, and thank you for focusing on that, Maria, because we have seen such incredible generosity. You know, our business community has rallied and has always been known for giving within our community, but even through these very difficult times, our business community has continued to show up and contribute not just to our community's economic well-being, but also its social well-being. And I know that at the Chamber every day we receive phone calls and inquiries and emails from our members and others who are looking for ways to contribute and give. So, you know, thank you so much for that, because we've seen tremendous generosity this year.
Yes.
And you're a shining example of someone who is all in, completely invested in every aspect of our community fabric. So thank you for that. So if there's one thing that I need to try from the bakery this holiday season, what would be that one unforgettable, delectable delight that you would recommend?
So I don't think anyone can see. I did bring some cookies and stuff like that because we do have.
Yeah, we can see you.
Oh, can you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't see. So
Okay.
we have we do have like assortments of Christmas cookies. You can get them. They're all made from hand, butter, assortment of shortbreads, kokoski, bear claw, things like that, traditional. But we're known for a couple things, which is the croissants. Like the chocolate croissants and things like that. But you know, if your background is English, you're there for our Eccles cakes. They're really hard to get because not very many people make them, but it is a true English Eccles cake, and we're known for that. So if you haven't had one before and you want to try something new, that's probably a good bet. So
I would highly recommend the almond-filled pastry as well. That when I went in there a couple of weeks ago, I got hooked on them when I was traveling in Paris many moons ago, and so it was like having a little taste of Paris in Burlington when we can't travel anymore. So that would be my vote. It was awesome.
So everyone's mouth is now watering. So thanks again, Maria, for everything that you've done this year and for being here. And now we're going to speak to our last business owner and operator today, Brock from Beau Florals, another organization that opened in March of this year. So at the onset and the outset of the pandemic. And Brock, you've done some amazing things over the course of this year, and every piece that you create is not only unique, but it showcases local growers, and your goal is to bring a smile to everyone that sees your work. So love to hear from you about your experience over 2020 and maybe some suggestions to brighten people's days as we move into the holidays.
Well, thank you for inviting me on here. I appreciate it. This is all kind of new to me. A lot has changed in a very short period of time. For anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Brock Stacy, and I used to own a hair salon, Studio B, for almost 10 years. And that was great. I loved it. I'm an artist, so I like to, connect with a lot of people. And then I needed a change. So I thought next best thing to do was to move up to Muskoka, and I saw this beautiful property that I thought, you know what, I want a hotel one day. I'm going to take this restaurant on in the basement and slowly, make it my dream. And very quickly realized that that was not for me, and maybe I should have served once in my life before I bought a restaurant. So that was a big learning lesson. But yeah, so basically I was very lucky to sell everything weeks before COVID. And so I came back home, the salon was still functioning, so I came back to work. And while I was doing that, I started getting my hands in florals. And up in Muskoka, there isn't a lot to do. So I would forage off the side of the highway. There were these beautiful lupins in the spring. So basically, I taught myself how to do floral design. And then, everything just kind of started opening up and then shutting down. So basically, we needed to shut down, and it was, for me, I needed a change. I didn't want to do hair anymore. So of course, when my dad tells me, Brock, you need to slow down and stop taking on new projects, that's more reason for me to do the opposite and prove him and myself wrong, right? So yeah, basically it started off as 10 bouquets on the side of, in front of my house, and I'm on Walker's Line, so it's a very great area for walk-by traffic. And so 10 turned into 20, and then 20 turned into 200 a day for Mother's Day. And we sold out of over 200 bouquets in 20 minutes on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that is honestly how I got started. And I'm listening to these stories and that video that you posted, and it's literally all about community. It's all about community, and it's, for me, it's connection. And because I grew up in Burlington and my family, my dad is a teacher at Nelson, that's all it's about for me, right? And every time I leave, I end up coming back. And, you know, I can talk to you about product that I have, but, you know, I think it speaks for itself, and I put so much energy and so much love into what I do. I'm still learning every single day. So I really want to just kind of come on here today to inspire. And just yesterday, like there were times that I would just start crying because I'm like, I've had the restaurant. I know what it feels like to, I was at a very bad place last year where I understand why people don't know what to do, right? And for me to be able to get out of it, I want to be able to take the next couple of years to help people grow their businesses. And I think I'm very good at the online presence and the social media. So I know that moving into January, February, I want to kind of try some other aspects of, you know, business and try to help people that, you know, maybe have questions and just need someone to tell them the blunt truth of how we can, you know, get your business to grow and, you know, pop your social media, right? And literally in less than a year, I've had over 11,000 followers that are, you know, true, real people that are very supportive. So I'm very lucky.
Well, you are truly a shining example of a startup in the midst of a pandemic. And, you know, you're not alone. We have seen, you know, a significant number of entrepreneurs that have started up some amazing enterprises under some of the most difficult economic conditions we've ever experienced. So, you know, hats off to you and congratulations. And not only for the success in terms of your business, but for that spirit of wanting to help others and contribute to the community. It really sets you apart.
And honestly, it's when we're talking about collaboration, I'm like, it's crazy. Almost every single day there are event coordinators, there are planners, there are restaurants, there are, you know, there's so many things that you can all connect. And I think people are going to start realizing with business, it's like, it's less about going on your own now. And it's like, well, how can we almost like take on a rent together and break it up into smaller? Like, we don't need this space. Like, I think I used to be so about, you know, bigger, bigger, bigger. And because I've learned very quickly, I've learned that it's like, that's not important, right? And through workshops and, you know, subscriptions, there's so much ways to connect with people. And I cannot wait to, you know, for the spring where I can get back outside, and whether we have to, you know, separate and do it in smaller groups, I'm committed to definitely making 21 a big year for me. There's a lot of amazing stuff going on.
Thanks, Brock. Absolutely. And, you know, it's always such a pleasure to speak with you. And again, congratulations. And we hope that business booms for you during the holidays. And I love that you focused on the partnership piece, because, you know, one of the things that I've noted throughout all of this year is that, you know, even though we have been physically distant for most of this year, our business community has probably never been more closely knit. We are honestly closer now and standing stronger together than I think we have ever done, and in partnership with the city and others. So thank you again for that really inspiring message. So how quickly an hour goes. It's hard to believe that our time together is actually drawing to a close. We could probably go on and on, but again, just to sort of conclude, you know, I want to thank all of our local business owners for being here today and sharing your insights with everyone that has joined us. Again, I can't say it often enough. We need everyone to support our local businesses. You are the backbone of our economy. You contribute so much to the community. So, you know, everyone, our messages: shop local, love local, not just the businesses we've heard from today, but others across the community, and especially, again, our retail and our restaurateurs who need us to rally around them so very much at this time. There are also, I'd like to mention, some amazing nonprofits and charitable organizations that are part of our member community. And we do have a very comprehensive online member directory for anyone who would like to visit it and perhaps identify a charity or
We lost Carla again, and I'm sure Ashley is going to jump in a moment, but just to pick up where she left off, the Burlington Chamber, chamber.ca would be where you would go to support charities. I know some of the gifts under the tree that I have are from some of our local charities, amazing offerings. Carla's back and so is Ashley, so I'll stop.
I'm back. Thank you so much. I'm
Hey,
having
team
fun.
effort. That's the
Absolutely. You have our back. Thank you so much. Right. I'm of all the days to have a small connectivity issue, I do apologize to everyone. So we just have a couple of final messages from some of our sponsors again who wanted to share their thoughts on some of their silver linings. So I'd love it if we could play the video from our sponsor TD. A wonderful message as we move into the next year, and then we'll hear from CN and Cogeco.
Hi, Burlington Chamber. I'm Oz Zafar, the new District Vice President of TD's Halton Commercial Banking Center here in Burlington. TD is proud to be this year's Platinum sponsor for the Mayor's Luncheon event in this new virtual environment as we continue to serve our community. Although I'm new to the role, I'm not new to this office nor the community. I've lived in Burlington for the last 15 years with my family. For me, the pandemic has exposed many silver linings, from medical innovation, global collaboration, to a greater emphasis on work-life balance. I've been fortunate to spend more quality time with my family, some could argue a little too much time together. For 2021, I hope we can continue to see our community support our local businesses and each other as we overcome the challenges we've faced this past year. From all of us at TD, I wish you all the best over the holiday season and into 2021.
Hello, everyone, and greetings to Her Worship Mayor Maeve Ward, Carla, and the team at the Burlington Chamber, and all of our viewers today. My name is Dan Salvatore, and I'm CN's Manager of Public Affairs for Ontario. And today it is my privilege to represent the over 25,000 women and men that operate our North American network on a daily basis. CN is a proud member and partner of the Burlington Chamber of Commerce and proud to support events like today's Mayor's Luncheon, as well as many other events throughout the year, including the Wonder Woman Conference. With the theme of collaboration for this year's event, I would like to reflect on the support that has been dedicated to the frontline workers that operate our trucks and trains at CN, and for those in so many areas who continue to do their job amidst the pandemic. Together, we're all taking steps in our own right to defeat COVID, whether it's washing our hands or wearing a mask. So thank you, everyone, for your part during this time as we collaborate and work together to work through this pandemic. Hello, everyone, and
hi, my name's Matt Wickham, Vice President and General Manager of Ontario at Cogeco. On behalf of myself and our Cogeco colleagues here in Burlington and across Ontario, I would like to wish everyone a happy holiday season. As a longtime member and partner of the Burlington Chamber of Commerce and sponsor of the Mayor's Luncheon, we here at Cogeco had envisioned today's event being a little different. While we're not able to get together in person this year, it's good that we can pivot to other methods of being able to connect. There's no denying that this year has had many challenges. However, we have also seen many examples of inspiration. So many members of the Burlington community have stepped up to extend a helping hand like never before. It gives me much pride to say that I've also seen this behavior right inside our own company with the strong support our employees are showing for this year's United Way campaign. At Cogeco, we have a culture of giving back to the communities we serve. Our employees have especially made us proud this year with their generous donations to help with providing much needed support to local agencies and their programs. They are truly a caring group of professionals, and we are very proud of them. As we look ahead to the new year just around the corner, my wish for all of you is that 2021 brings good health and prosperity, and that the true caring nature that's been demonstrated this past year is one permanent outcome of 2020. Thank you for your time today, and best wishes for a special holiday season.
So thank you again so much to our sponsors. We do have some special holiday greetings as well from Bateman McKay and Dodsworth and Brown that we'll be sending out to everyone participating today as a follow-up. And we are recording today's session, so we will be posting it on YouTube. We're so very grateful to our corporate partners. Again, their generosity and support this year has really been integral to the Chamber's success. So I just want to say, you know, Mayor, a very special thanks to you for taking time to be with us today. I know how incredibly busy you are, and you have been such a fierce and tireless champion and advocate for businesses and everyone in the city this year. I can only imagine how difficult it's been, but you've been such a shining example of leadership, and our city is truly very fortunate to have you at the helm. So thank you to you and all of your council colleagues for your outstanding and truly authentic leadership this year. I also want to thank all of our business guests that have been here today. It's been so much fun to spend time with you and to share more about your business with everyone else that's been joining us on the line today. And you know, we look forward to staying strong together as we've done throughout 2020 and into 21. And so with all of that, I want to wrap up by wishing everybody a truly wonderful holiday season. I look forward to a time when we can get together again, hopefully in 2021. But in the meantime, best wishes to all of you for a very happy new year. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful day. Thank you for being here.